What is going on, everybody? It's Alex. I'm back in another video, and today we are going to be taking a quick break from the mock draft to look at Peter Schrager's 2021 NFL mock draft. Now, obviously, this is going to be a later video because, of course, work has inundated me until now. So I wanted to give you guys a shorter video, but a good video still. I don't want it to be super late. So obviously, we'll be back to the mock tomorrow, but I heard this one's going to be definitely interesting. As you guys can see, the picks are already starting to be up there, but let's jump into this. Starting off with the number one pick, Trevor Lawrence. I don't really need to. I don't need to talk about that. At this point, that's a guaranteed. Of course, NFL.com is pretty damn good with its pop-up ads. But number two, the Jets go Zach Wilson. Again, this is a foregone conclusion. So the draft now starts at 3. So we have the 1 and 2 picks. And of course, this is complete BS. It's the idea of Mac Jones at number 3. I just don't understand why people even believe that there's a chance of this happening. Why would you give away your entire franchise, essentially, their entire franchise's future, to continue with a guy who has an almost identical skill set to the same guy who has been leading your franchise? It doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm gonna be looking up like actually the quote right now. So it says Nick Saban said this is according to 49ers on NBC Sports. Nick Saban says Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch didn't ask him about Mac Jones at Alabama's pro day. Does this mean that this is an impossibility? No, but it's just so stupid. It's so stupid that people even think that Mac Jones is worth this pick. I mean, I know people like him, but if you think that San Francisco is guaranteeing that Jimmy G is going to be there and they're going to sit Mac Jones, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, you've lost the plot, to put it as Gordon Ramsay would. If you This spot's guaranteed as a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance, because quoted from the 49ers scout, the NFL views 4 quarterbacks in this class being worth a number 1 overall pick in a draft. And do you think Mac Jones is? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Ball placement, garbage. I'm gonna be honest. It's not that hard to throw to a guy who's 5 yards open. I mean, people were talking about this before on even NFL Network and ESPN. It's like you put Mitchell Trubisky with a target 5 yards open, he will probably be able to hit that target pretty damn consistently. So I'm sorry. I don't really believe Mac Jones is a great quarterback. Do I put him out of the first round? No, because I still respect the fact that he can go through progressions. He does have a good pocket awareness, and he has tested athleticism. So, obviously not going to take that much away from Mac Jones. He's just not even close to these top 4 guys, and it's kind of gross to me to see that people really think Mac Jones is a top 3 prospect in this class, for a top 3 pick in this class. It's just so stupid. I'm sorry, Peter. I know it's the NFL's narrative to make, like NFL ESPN's narrative to end up making this draft like more fun, because these picks are kind of already guaranteed pretty much. So I mean, I understand what they're trying to do business wise, but like, it's gone to the point where people can just see right through the bullshit. Like, everybody knows it's not going to happen. It's so stupid. Next, the Patriots trade up for Justin Fields. Honestly, I mean, that's a great trade for the Patriots, because Trey Lance is super raw. Justin Fields, I think, is the highest potential in the class. A lot of people do as well. Justin Fields is absolutely an excellent quarterback. Really good. I think he goes at number 3. I'm going to be honest. I think he goes at number 3 because he's the perfect blend of athleticism, arm talent, and someone who's raw who could sit for a year. And both of these teams are perfect fits for that. You could look at Atlanta as well. I just don't think Atlanta with the restructure is going to be really in a good place, because I don't think you want to start a quarterback who has 4 years plus a 5th-year contract in his third year. It's like the quarterbacks take their leap, their real test in the third year. And I don't think, because a lot of quarterbacks are starting to ask for their extensions in their third year, I don't think that it's the best move. Like, you need to start them year 2 or nothing else. And most of the time, if you draft a quarterback in year 1, they will play sometime in year 1. So even Patrick Mahomes did. So this pick, I absolutely love it. Justin Fields to the Patriots is an excellent fit. I want him in a Niners jersey, Broncos jersey, or pretty much a Pats jersey. Not really a fan of him on the Falcons anymore, just given the fact, of course, Matt Ryan would be 40 mil to release if you use him this year and release him before next. So that'd be a pretty heavy dead cap. This is something where I don't like it. There are 3 guarantee there are three prospects that the Bengals can take, and two of them are generational. And those three targets are, of course, Penei Sewell, Kyle Pitts, and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is really good. Really good. He's not generational. He's not the best wide receiver we've ever seen. He's a really damn good one, though. He could just be a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, guaranteed. But the Bengals honestly don't need that right now. They could definitely need a solid tight end who can also play as probably as good as Jamar Chase at a wide receiver spot. They could need a true left tackle, right tackle, or guard. I mean, their offensive line's pretty much in shambles, apart from Jonah Williams. I don't see how you can logically say Jamar Chase is worth that number 5 pick when you have those two amazing prospects there. At number 6, Rashaan Slater. I mean, honestly, I think it's stupid, but I mean, Rashaan Slater's a really, really good player. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I assume he's probably more pro ready than Penei Sewell is, but the ceiling's not even close. So, I mean, I'm just all down on Penei Sewell. I'm not going to disrespect Rashaan Slater too much, but dude, if Kyle Pitts is there, I don't even care. I mean, Penei Sewell will be the only reason why I'd ever take a lineman there. But if you really think Penei Sewell's worse than Rashaan Slater, I'd take Kyle Pitts 10 out of 10. There's no doubt in my mind. So I just really don't understand the logic here. You'd have to shift the entire offensive line, or else you'd put him at center. And I mean, you don't want to draft a center at 6 overall. It's kind of stupid to me. I don't know. Cardinals trade out for Kyle Pitts. Wouldn't that be a dream? But then again, Cliff Kingsbury doesn't use tight ends as receiving weapons, more as blocking and releasing. So again, not really a good scheme fit. Peter Schrags, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's buddies with Cliff Kingsbury. So I don't really know. I don't know. He might not be, if we're going to be 100% straight, but I know he's good buddies with like Shanahan or else Kingsbury. It's one of those two guys, but regardless, it's stupid. It's an oversight. It's stupid. It's just like, it kind of just shows that he's another one of these little analysts that, like, come on, dude. I mean, the best thing I've ever heard from him is talking highly about Patrick Mahomes, and that's just because he regurgitated information from from the Chiefs camp. So next at 8, the Panthers get Sewell, which, I mean, if you swap Penei Sewell and Rashaan Slater, then we'd be getting more to an accurate draft. And then, of course, you could just like flip Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts, and technically that'd still be a pretty damn fine trade. But again, I don't know if so they give up 2 firsts and then a third. That's a lot, but I mean, you could put Kyle and Jamar Chase right there as well. Number 9, the Broncos going Trey Lance. You know, again, you know me, I might even trade up for Trey Lance if I were the Broncos, because I'm not a big fan of Trey Lance, have him as a top 20 player in the class, but you know, the potential is sometimes worth it. You sometimes just take the shot. I mean, the safe guy is never really the best guy. So being able to get a guy like Trey Lance, that's something that I'd be willing to take a shot on, especially for Denver, where it's like you can't get really much worse than Drew Lock. Number 10, the Cowboys going Surtain. Again, after testing that well, hopefully he can move that 4.4 speed into his gameplay, because right now he's playing 4.6, maybe 4.7 speed. As long as he can do that, great pick. Great pick. Next, at number 11, the Giants went Micah. I mean, we all know that they could definitely get help on the defensive side, linebacker-wise, pass rush-wise, even though their defense was pretty damn good. And I think it actually got even better. I would just say this, that guard spot is a huge vacancy. Micah Parsons, I would never complain about them getting this pick, because I need to see what they do in the later rounds, in the next rounds. So that's really why I hate these 1-round mocks, is like, well, what do they do? Do they get a guard round 2? Because they're in pretty good position to be able to select a Wyatt Davis or maybe a Creed Humphrey and put him to guard. You can even put Quinn Meinerz at guard. So not to mention Quinn Meinerz could probably start at center too, because I'm forgetting who your guys' center is, but he's obviously not the greatest center in the world. At number 12, the Eagles gained Jaylen Waddle. Again, I don't like this idea, given the fact that Jalen Reagor is going to be in that slot, and Jaylen Waddle only played from the slot. I just do not understand why people do not think about, oh, we're just going to check off wide receiver because we need to. No, you don't need a slot wide receiver. Jalen Rager was a first round pick, and deservedly so. I had him as an early second, and he's going to fit perfectly in that slot. Jalen Waddle's a slot. Why the hell are you trying to like force them to have to make a like either certain situations where there's two slots, or it's just why are you going to force that on them? The Eagles could potentially trade out of this pick. Again, there's a Jalen Waddle here. Why not trade with potentially the Vikings, with another team that needs a slot? Detroit could even trade back up for Jalen Waddle. I just do not get it, because technically, if the Eagles trade back and then you pretty much swap the picks, Devontae and then Jalen, I think that's perfect. But again, I just do not think that Peter Schrager actually thinks when it comes to schemes. Because I mean, really, dude. I mean, I no doubt about it. Jalen Waddle's excellent talent, but I mean, if you have a guy who has potential of being a true leader in the slot, you don't get another leader in the slot, especially when you have needs everywhere else on your team. I just don't get it. This could even be like Elijah Vera Tucker, because of the fact that they probably do need versatility at guard and tackle. Nothing's even for certain on this team anymore, but I mean, there's just a lot more different ways that this pick should go. And then honestly, the Eagles have already traded down once. They could probably trade down again and still get excellent value. Chargers getting Darsaw. Already know it. I love it. Vikings getting Kwity Paye. I'm a big fan of Paye. Again, I just think that they are going to be more targeting offensive line, but if they go this route, would not mind it at all. Not one chance. I would love it. The Falcons getting JOK. Isaiah Oliver wasn't the greatest in the slot either, so they could use him there. They can use him as that Keanu Neal role, not to mention along with like Alua Khan, Michael Walker, Deion Jones. So I mean that's a pretty solid pick in my eyes, and especially if you use him in that Keanu Neal role, he could actually be a really really good prospect for the Falcons. I'd actually love to see him on it. Detroit getting Devontae Smith, that'd be a pretty solid pick. They have Tyrell Williams as long as he stays healthy to distract the big safeties away from Smith, but I'm just so worried about his health, man. Like he's playing at 160 pounds during the season, and like looking at him now at 170, I can't come to grasp with the idea that Devontae Smith can play at that level, like play at an actual high level for a long period of time at that weight. Excuse me. Vegas Raiders going Newsome. I mean, to be honest, it's an interesting pick. So I think the right tackle spot is the biggest vacancy on this roster, but corner. I mean, they went after Nick Arnett last year, or not Nick Arnett, Damian Arnett last year, and he has not been what they thought he would be, and he kind of is what everybody else thought he would be. So getting Greg Newsome to be your actual cornerback 1/2, I can understand that. So I wouldn't hate on them for this. I just want to see what would they do in the next round. Would they get a Spencer Brown? Would they get somebody else? That would be definitely dictating how I feel about this pick. Number 18, the Dolphins getting Najee Harris. I mean, I understand people are like, oh, well, I mean, the running backs weren't that great. I mean, Najee Harris is so much better than them. I mean, Javonte Williams is as talented as Najee Harris. I mean, you guys can debate that with me all you want, but I mean, for the value that he would add to this roster, you can have that running back by committee role, and then you can also have Javonte Williams, who's a lead back in the RBBC, and then it fits perfectly, and you could probably get him at your second round pick. I just do not understand this love for Najee Harris to where you throw away two really talented running backs. You're basically saying, oh, screw it. I mean, we have other needs on our roster, but you know what? We're going to throw it away for a running back that has basically no tread. That's a good way of kissing your franchise goodbye. You have a couple more holes that you probably want to fill. Do that, and then take your running back in the second. You still have a huge hole at pass rush. So there's plenty of guys for that. If you guys really want to get a guy who might not last very long in the NFL, why not just get Jaylen Phillips here? It's like get Jaylen Phillips and then get Javonte Williams at your next pick. He ran like a 4.58, so he probably could be there. I just don't really get it. Najee Harris, really great talent. No disrespect to him. I just don't feel like he's a good scheme fit. Trevon Merrick to the Washington football team. I don't see him as a single high safety that can be like really. I mean, I don't think a single high safety is worth a pick 19. That's pretty much all I have to say. There's still really talented weapons on the board. There is still some pretty solid slot corners, linebackers. I just don't really feel like Trevon Merrick's the right way to go. And I know that Pete has a boner over Merrick, but I mean, given that, I don't mind it too much. He's just probably going best player available who could fit a potential need on this team. So I really won't go all at him for that. But, I'm just not too big of a fan of Merrick to Washington. At pick 20, the Bears going Kadarius. Again, you're going to need a larger wide receiver, especially if Allen Robinson sits out. Don't really understand this one too much. Anthony Miller also might be gone. So I don't understand why you're talking about replacing Allen Robinson with Kadarius Toney at all. Kadarius Toney's not built to be a number one. He's built to be maybe a number one option, but not a number one receiver. If you guys understand what I mean, he's going to be somebody who might be targeted the most, but he's not going to act as a number one where he's taking on the best corner down the field, and he's going to be a big guy who's like scaring the shit out of defenses down the field. Kadarius is an excellent gadget player with the ball in his hands. He's excellent. I still have him as a top 25 player in the class, but it just doesn't fit what the Bears mantra is. He's not a Bear. So I don't really get this one either. I'd love to look back on his mocks for 2020 and just see what he did there, because maybe he has some insight. Maybe he understands things. Because I certainly have no idea what the hell he's smoking to end up putting Kadarius Toney on the Bears when Rashad Bateman is right there. At 21, the Colts going J.C. Horn. Also another guy who should have went to the Bears. They don't need it, but that is best player available. But they do need a left tackle. I don't understand why people are ditching big ass vacancies that they didn't address in free agency. There's a reason why they don't address it in free agency. It's because they're probably going to do it in the draft. So it's like if they addressed corner for this year, doesn't mean that they can't go corner, but they addressed corner. They did not address left tackle. Well, I mean, what? I think it brought like Sam Tevi in or something. Like, really? So I think this is an obvious pick at left tackle, especially given the fact that a lot of these tackles are going to be there at that pick. I think Dylan Raduns is going to be probably the sneaker pick, maybe even Cosme. So those are the two guys I can see there. Other guys have really big length issues, but those two guys probably are either non-length or else have enough athleticism to get around that. At pick 22, the Titans go Jaylen Phillips. I mean, I want to try to remember what type of scheme Titans are going to be running without Pease there, but I don't really see Phillips in that plan. The Titans are no longer in Super Bowl contention, and it's kind of embarrassing. Their entire team is falling apart. So if we're going to be honest, why not just take a shot on a guy like Farley, and then he could actually develop into a pretty good player if he's able to not be rushed in, given the fact that, of course, they might even not be second in their division. We're going to be honest. They could be third. Hell, if Deshaun comes back from all of this and then he's perfectly clean, and the Titans could be fourth in their division pretty quickly, and they need to be focusing on that secondary pretty badly. And this is just not the right way to go. Not the right way to go, because they brought in Bud Dupree. So, it's yeah. I don't know. I don't like it in the first. Rondale Moore to the Jets. I mean, I don't think that you want to get Zach Wilson, a guy who continues to drop balls and everything. So, it's okay. It's okay. Rondale Moore is a good weapon, but I just don't really feel a vibe with that. Elijah Vera Tucker's on the board still, so you guys could definitely go with that. Your guard spot is pretty damn horrific with Van Roten there, so I would definitely not like that. Steelers getting Dickerson, you guys know it. I got him from literally in the second round. I could swipe right and then show you guys. I think that would be perfect replacement for Marquise Pouncey, but it's fine. And number 25, the Jaguars getting Oweh. I mean, do you need another raw pass rusher on this squad? Caleb Von Chason was literally selected a very short time ago, and he obviously is still developing. You got Josh Allen there. I do not understand this. You have big holes at safety. Not going to address it here. Tackle. All the tackles are still here. So I just don't understand why Peter is allergic to tackles, but I mean, it's going to make any team that selects him later on be a lot happier. Browns going Russo, it could happen. I mean, Russo's just starting to get his second round hype just because of how poor he tested at the pro day, but I'm not sure because he didn't do atrocious. He just didn't live up to the hype. So I don't think that's going to be shoving him down draft boards. Still think he could be this first round pick for the Browns, but they do look like they're trying to address corner. They did have a conversation with Farley. They brought him in for an interview. So you never know. Ravens getting Farley. I don't understand. I guess Ravens are just getting best player available. So cheers to them. But I mean, again, they still probably should be going after a tackle, given the fact that Orlando Brown wants a. I'm pretty sure he wants a big ass contract extension. The Ravens are like, we need to get Lamar first. So rather than rather than just getting rid of a $140 million running back, they're going to be probably trying to ship Orlando Brown off. So I mean, I think that getting tackle here could be a sneaky move for them. And number 28, also, by the way, Tevin Jenkins is still on the board, who's an absolute beast. Don't really understand the the allergies to really good offensive linemen are. Saints going Zaven Collins. They do need a linebacker pretty bad. And I wouldn't call him a gazelle. And I don't think he covers space nearly as well as Peter Schrager thinks he does. I don't think Peter Schrager's really watched Zaven Collins. Maybe his highlight tape, but he's excellent in coverage. He's an enforcer, and he's excellent, but he's not very mobile. That's his one fault. He tested the same way. He didn't test that great. So this idea that he's a gazelle it just kind of shows that, Peter Schrager is just doing this because the NFL wants to get clicks. Nick Bolton next, Green Bay Packers. That's good. That's good. I do that pick. But then again, there are still some really high-end corners on the board. There's still Tevin Jenkins on the board. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is really thinking about getting the hell out of there. Why are you not trying to just pretty much like do everything to make sure? Oh, by the way, Rashad Bateman's there too. I keep forgetting that. Why are you not just trying to do something to make him want to stay? He's possibly the best quarterback of all time, like best talent wise. So I don't know. I just don't get it. At number 30, the Bills getting Asante Samuel. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. He has a really big dog mentality. Don't know if he's going to be great in zone, but I know that he'd work his ass off for it. So that's something I like. At pick 31, the Chiefs going Terrace Marshall. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind it, but I do think that again, all of the tackles are on the board. So Mr. Allergy to linemen. I mean, he kind of looks like a lineman himself. Just don't really understand what's up with that. You cut your 2 starting tackles and you're going wide receiver round 1. Stupid. Number 32, the Bucks go Davis Mills. The whole entire reason I saw this was because someone said Davis was in the first. I think that he is going to be going in the second, unfortunately. I mean, I have a third on Davis. He definitely has shown some excellent traits, but I'm going to hold off on saying that he will be an excellent quarterback. Good job to sit beneath Tom Brady, but I would hold off on being able to say that he's going to be the franchise guy for the Buccaneers. So I want to let you guys drop your comments down below. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys on the far side. Peace.